Hello and welcome to the Great Game Debate Podcast, where friends come together to respectfully discuss, debate, and disagree about video games. As always, I'm your host, Caden. If you can hear a door banging, that's my toddler slamming the door on the other side, trying to get in. And of course, I'm joined by the godfather of the debate, Jonah Gomez. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing all right. Internet issues all around, so bear with us, everyone. But if you're watching the video, I got my nails done. The girls, my wife and my daughter wanted to paint their nails today, and my daughter thought it'd be funny if Daddy had his nails painted. So here we go. Got my Midwest emo black. Let's go.
Yeah. Of course, we're not complete without the man with the golden voice and the golden Warhammer miniatures. How you doing, Mateo?
Oh, dude, it's such an expensive hobby. Why did I do this? Why did I start buying Warhammer?
Dude, it's
No kids is why.
There's something wrong with me, dude.
Yeah, you don't have kids. That's why you can play Warhammer.
Are you children now? We're very pleased to welcome back the Saucy Aussie. Finally, the daylight. How you doing, my friend?
Slowly getting closer. Yeah, feeling good, man. I'm especially feeling good because last episode, Asa, he peeked under a hood and he found the jewel.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so
All right, our special guest this week is none other than Cam Hawkins, freelance writer, host, video talent. As your Twitter bio says, you've done some work for IGN, Game Informer, self-described JRPG Poppy Trails.
Right, that's Blessing Adeoye Jr. He gave me that title, and I was just like, "Yo, I'm gonna use that."
Yeah,
that's heat. So shout out to Bless.
Granted the title, then flaunt it. Hell yeah! But
yeah, I was just like, I felt honored. I was like, hell yeah.
Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to be on our show. We really appreciate it. How are you doing?
Good. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited. I met some of y'all at PAX West, and it was a good time. And y'all, Jonah reached out saying like, "Hey, you want to come on the podcast?" I'm like, "Absolutely. I'm always down to go on podcast and talk video games."
And
Bond
that
forged.
night was so awesome. We got to meet so many dope people. But holy shit, that venue was so goddamn hot,
it was
dude.
So hot. I was also, I got. Can we swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I got fucked up that night.
Vision Quest.
I'm 30 years old, and I'm still like, I don't know if that's like considered too old, but like I'm still like, when I go on these trips, like I am out as long as the vibes are still good, right? And so I was fucking thrashed because it was the Life is Strange Square Enix party, and it was open bar.
Yeah.
So I took advantage of that shit. Let me just say that. And so by the time like the Sheridan's kind of like the hotel next to the convention center, and like that's kind of like the spot that people go to once like any sort of like event activities are done. And I knew once I got there, I was like, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up, and I'm gonna go to the trash can, and I just yak. And then my buddy Darren from Rusty Rupees, I don't know if y'all got to meet him at PAX West, but they're a really great crew. I was just like, Darren, I need you to walk me back to my hotel room, because I was at like a Hyatt Regency, and so when I get into the room and I see that no one else is in the room yet, and they're all like people older than me, I knew that's when I really knew. Oh, I fucked up. I got, because normally I'm good about handling my alcohol, but that night I was just like, oh no, I'm taking advantage of this, and so. But that was a fun night. It was really hot in there.
Yeah, dude,
sure.
how much did you drink out? Because like we kind of met you towards the end, and you were pretty good at the end. So Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I probably had like somewhere between 6 to 8 drinks.
Holy shit!
But like,
wow.
Because I think what the issue was at that point, yeah, I was pretty good. Like I was feeling it, like things like that. And again, I'm pretty good at handling my liquor, and I'm pretty good at like knowing when I'm at my limit and I need to stop. And so I was like, I didn't feel like I was there yet. And then the open bar was about to close. And so I'm just like, yo, I'm just going to be like double fisting these rum and cokes until we get kicked out. And so that's what I did. And those two, like between those two drinks, something happened.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, all right, my friends. I hope you stopped by Destiny Island and picked up the Keyblade because it's time for the icebreaker.
It was a little late, but it's fine. It's fine.
Kingdom Hearts is light.
Oh, God,
okay,
no.
so our question comes in from the moniker he sent in for the question is Aviator Dan. We all know. The question Dan sends in is: the apocalypse has happened, and you are stuck with the sidekick from the last game you played. Who is it? What are they cooking for you to eat? And are you going to gain weight or die on that diet? I'll kick us off here. I picked this one because I've been playing Metaphor, and you've got your little sidekick, the Fairy Gallica, in that one. Very like Ocarina of Time vibes. And it's funny, they have little profiles on all the characters that they actually show what their favorite foods are. And hers is some kind of like berry salad or something because she's just like, a 6-inch tall fairy. So if I'm in the apocalypse with a fairy who's going to be bringing like 2 berries because like one berry will fill her up and then she can't carry more than one other berry because she's 6 inches tall. I watched enough of that survival show alone. Like, if you're not getting fat, you're gonna die. So, like, I'm fucking dead in this scenario, dude. I'm gonna waste. Steven, you got anything? You got any thought? Oh, okay, yeah. No, we'll pass it to Jonah.
So I went back and started playing Eastward again on my Switch, and John, the main character, he's fighting with the frying pan, but he's known for how good of a cook he is. So I'm gonna be eating good, man. As long as we got the resources, we be eating, making all sorts of curry, rice balls, and he's making bento boxes and stuff.
You relate to cooks in games way too much. What, you got this dude? You got Garo now.
You can't be more. Is your favorite store-bought character Rock, bro?
I mean,
Probably.
he is pretty
Rock
good.
is a badass.
He is pretty good. Dude, what's the name of the dude that had his arm that was missing his arm?
Lopin.
Yeah,
the
Lopin. Get it right. The Lopin.
My bad.
I think.
But we're out here to talk about store-bought.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that there was a spinoff of East called Eastward, Jonah. So thanks for that tip. I got to check that one out. Steven, what have you got for it?
Man, I'm trying to think of it like the way that Jonah used it. He used like the MC. So, but what I've been playing, just literally because of the Pokemon TCG hype, pick back up Legends, just for a little roam around. Feel the vibes out. I'm excited for ZA coming out next year or whenever it comes out. So I unfortunately the main Pokemon that I have is Cricketune because I need false swipe for catching Mon. So I've got a gross fucking human-sized bug with freaking scythe hands. I don't think it's getting me anything other than other gross shit. Not great. And plus, I would be terrified all the time that I have this human-sized bug next to me.
He's probably gonna eat you at the drop of a hat.
Exactly. Cut off my head after non-consensual sex or something.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're its sidekick. You're lucky if you can bring in enough food so it doesn't eat you. Mateo, what have you got for us?
So the game that I've actually been playing most recently is Ascent, but that's kind of like this single-player extraction way that I've been playing it. It's like the survival crap. It's Punch Tree, dude. It's Punch Tree, get wood, build things.
Yeah.
But so otherwise, I've been playing Deep Rock Galactic, but specifically the Survivor version of it, which means that my companion character would be APD B317, better known as Bosco. He is a little floaty drone with machine guns. He's not going to do much good as far as cooking stuff for you, but the article here says that he can mine minerals, fight off enemies, revive the player should they go down, and light up locations using a spotlight.
See, when you die of starvation, you'll just get revived.
And he'll revive me back up. Exactly, dude.
That's some I have no mouth and I'm a scream shit. Like, you're just constantly dying of hunger and being revived.
Well, that's
interesting. Cool. So that just leaves, Cam, what have you got for us?
I was gonna say I have a few local friends that really want me to get into Deep Rock Galactic.
I'm sorry. Dude.
It's just not my thing. But I love that. I'll hang with y'all. I'll vibe with y'all on the Discord while y'all are playing. But so the two most recent games I've played are redacted. They're I can't say yet. Their embargoes have not lifted, but I will say I have before that was playing East 10, thinking of
Nice.
Eastward, and if we're going like sidekick, then I'd have to go with Karja, who is like the princess leader of this giant
that's a good one.
clan that basically takes care of people. I'm sure she knows how to cook. If she don't know how to cook, then she ain't no good leader. So I think I'm gonna be well fed. Fed.
Hell yeah.
She seems like she can. If she doesn't know how to hunt or fish, she certainly seems like she knows how to pillage. So she'll just find like our camps and like steal our shit for you. That's pretty good. All right. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for the question. Before we move on, I'd like to do a quick shout out of our patrons. Thanks, Dan. So thank you to our patrons, Dan Giesland, Pucho, Wes, Dakota Falk, Randall Reborn, Too Good, Austin Sheen, and Cherie Clark.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
I think that collectively, I thought of it when I was listening to the last episode. It's like, I think thanks, Mom is just for everyone. That's everyone of you is our mother.
Yeah.
Spiritual mothers.
Supports us.
No, my mom would approve. My mom would approve. Yeah.
All right. So, we're gonna put you in the hot seat just a little bit here, Cam. Get to know you a little bit better. Have our listeners get to know you a little bit better before we move on to our debate. So yeah, I'll just give you the floor for a few minutes before we start drilling you with questions, just to kind of give us the 2-minute elevator pitch of Cam Hawkins and anything, any content you want to plug, throw out there, or recommend somebody to watch, or where people can follow you if they want to follow you, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, so my name's Cameron Hawkins. People call me Cam, and that's perfectly fine too. I don't really care. And I have been a games writer since 2019. I actually did mainly PR this year. I did PR for a company, but I am now unemployed and looking for work. And so I'm kind of back in the kind of floating around everything right now. But yeah, I've been featured on IGN, Kind of Funny. I've had reviews on Game Informer. I've written for Digital Trends. Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy who loves video games. I like talking about video games. I have a podcast, like a limited series type podcast called Unlocking Kingdom Hearts, which is kind of like a book club podcast where it's me, it's Alexa Ray Correa, who wrote a book on Kingdom Hearts through Boss Fight Books. She wrote the Kingdom Hearts 2 book. Jonathan Dornbush, for those that are in the game space, you probably remember him when he was a writer and at IGN. He ran the Podcast Beyond PlayStation podcast. He's another Kingdom Hearts sicko like myself. And then Kevin Diaz from PlayStation Source on YouTube. He's a newbie and he's never played through the series. And
nice.
When Sora was announced for Smash, he really kind of felt the magic of that day and how it was kind of like a big deal for even if you weren't like a fan of Kingdom Hearts, like people knew that Sora was like so sought after. And he was just like, I really want to play through the series. And that kind of sparked my idea of dang, this is a perfect time to also get people into the series. It's, it's on, you can play it anywhere. You can play basically the entire series. And we're about to start a new arc in the series. So now's the perfect time to catch up. And I know that in modern, the past probably 5 to 10 years, there's kind of been this trend of developers feeling the need to make these games accessible in a way where it's oh, you don't need to play the previous games to play this game.
Yeah.
And personally for me, I think there's instances where it works, but I don't think that should apply to every franchise. And I think 100%. That Kingdom Hearts is a franchise where you need to play all the games. You need to that's how you're going to understand the story. And as someone who, with Kevin being someone who has played through most of the series at this point, he's only I think technically just Kingdom Hearts 3 is left when it comes to like playing a game. He's really loved it, and I think that like being on the podcast has helped him like understand some things about Kingdom Hearts, because I'm not going to say like Kingdom Hearts is like the easiest thing to understand, but I also think that it does get a bad rap on like its convolutedness and stuff like that, because I think that for the majority of people, the vast majority of people, if you play through the games in release order, like the way that the game's released, you will understand the story by the end of it. Whether you like it or not, that's a whole nother thing. But like, you will understand like all the key points and players. And there's there's ongoing Discord that's both in bad faith and good faith, I guess. Like mainly in bad faith of like, you obviously have not played any Kingdom Hearts games. You're just like trying to kind of egg on and jump on top of this very old, very tiring talking point about the series. And then there are people that like know that they should play all the games, but they're like, oh, I'm just gonna play 1, 2, and 3, and it's just like, and then they get upset. It's just like,
you can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah, you just can't. Like that's on you. That's not on anyone else but yourself. And so that's kind of like what this podcast is for. It's to like have people that are knowledgeable as well as someone new to experience the game with you at the same time. So you have like that audience. You have that comfort of like someone else on the podcast asking these questions that you are probably asking or you're probably curious about and hoping to get answers to. And it's a completely like organic discussion. Like I don't like set up certain questions for like Kevin or anyone. It's more like, hey, what are your thoughts on this game, on like gameplay, story, characters? Like we and we just it's just an organic conversation. So that's a podcast that we have like 3 episodes left at this point. We just released our latest episode, which was on 0.2 a fragmentary passage and back
so you guys are catching up.
So we just have Kingdom Hearts 3 left, and then we have like the mobile game stuff, and then we have like our like epilogue like kind of series so far type episode. So we're almost done, and it's something that we've been doing for like the past like well over a year at this point.
Wow, I'm surprised you got through it that quickly. You know?
So I know I'm a known like Kingdom Hearts hater and stuff. I will say, wait, hold on. I will say the most fun I have had playing Kingdom Hearts has been what's the little like side story where you're playing as Aqua?
Birth by Sleep.
Oh yeah. Birth by Sleep.
That one is sick. That one
was it the PSP one?
No, like it was the one that it was like the
2.8 then.
Fragmentary patches.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, it was it was like the pre-release for 3, and it just
the magic system in that was just really good. Yeah,
it felt really good, and it was just like really tight corridors. Just that was. I'm like, this is what I wish Kingdom Hearts was, because it felt really good.
Did you play the combat in Kingdom Hearts 2? Because the Kingdom Hearts 2 combat system is perfect.
I played, like I said, I played a little bit. I just camera, like every time I got my hands on the controls,
the camera's rough.
Every time I got my hands on the controls and I had to deal with that camera, I wanted to strangle myself. I didn't want to hang myself. I wanted to strangle myself. I wanted to put all the effort in.
You have the option to move the camera yourself. Like you have.
Yes, I know. I still
with
hated
the ingenious L1 and R1 buttons of the PlayStation 2.
I do think that I do think like across the entire series, the camera is a problem. I don't think it is as bad as people make it out to be. No. But it is like I cannot deny that the camera has always been like a con of the series. So I'm not, I can't like, be upset about that. But I do think that like, again, and I don't know how much you played and how like in lengths of time or whatever, but I think Kingdom Hearts 2's combat is perfect. I think Kingdom Hearts 2 has the best suite of bosses in any video game. Like especially if you include the data battles, it's like not even a question. And I also think that
let's talk about that gummy ship, bro.
the gummy ship stuff is the best in 2. Like it's not like in 1 and 3 it's not great.
It is better in 2. It's
a gummy ship. Is it made out of like gummy candies or like?
Yes, I'm sure you can.
But yeah. So unlocking Kingdom Hearts podcast. That's the thing. That went on for like way too long. and what else do I? I'm writing a book on Kingdom Hearts.
I was gonna ask.
With Alexa Ray Korea, so we're co-writing the book together.
Oh yeah.
When is it coming out? Probably next year, like back half of next year. It could push into early 2026. I really don't know. I can openly say that like we have until, at least right now at this point, we have until like the end of the first half of next year to finish the book. So we still have like plenty of time to write things. It's basically gonna serve as like a compilation of essays regarding the series, you know. So
that's cool.
It'll like, it can revolve around like some simplistic topics and then some more like in depth, like kind of like kind of like philosophical stuff too. Like there's a bunch of different type of ways we're approaching the chapters, and you know it's going to focus on two big Kingdom Hearts sickos and like kind of how we like view the series. So I think that like even if you like have played Kingdom Hearts and you're not like a huge fan, like if you like I think Jonah's a perfect example. Like I think that if you, knowing that you've played through the games, or like you've at least seen your partner play through all the games, and you don't super vibe with the story, I think reading one, like Alexa's book that's already came out, but also this book will like maybe give you a new perspective on like how people that love the series view like the story and the characters. Because I think because a lot of Kingdom Hearts storytelling is very metaphorical. It's very like symbolic, and it's not like this like direct spoon-fed like type of narrative. And so like a lot of people kind of pick out their favorite things about it a lot based off of like their personal lives and their personal like outlooks on things, like you know. So like for example, like I'm not gonna say the specifics, but like I'm gonna write a chapter on Riku, who's like my favorite video game character ever, and like a big like, and it's about like how the kind of journey he went through and how that like affected my outlook on life, the way that I like try to better myself, like, you know, on a day-to-day basis, and like the things that like really make his character you know, just really profound for me. And so like that's a very like light idea of what that one thing is going to go for.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's and it's being published by Limited Run. So
sick, dude.
Nice.
Damn, dude.
Can I just interject quickly? I've been wanting to for ages, but every single time you've got more tidbits, and I'm like, this one I'm going to quickly get in. You said Riku is your favorite character. Can we just get a little drip score on Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I did not vibe with those tartan pants. Like,
drip score? Yeah, I mean, like, I think their fits in 2 were notably better than 3. Like, I think that I think that in 2 it felt like it was just a little extra, like in all like good ways. And then in this one, they made it a lot.
Just enough zippers.
Nomura just made it like a lot more conservative. It's just like, it's kind of like moot colors. Even like with the red, it's like, it's like kind of like a dark red. And then the plaid, it was like kind of like a plaid vibe to all of them. And I understand they like, you know, he wanted a theme across the characters. But
he's trying to go for that Pacific Northwest flannel look, you know? He's trying to get those
that's a classic look.
So really funny, actually. This is a small tangent, but Nomura said in an interview once that like basically everything that he has designed for a character, he owns like clothes that look like that is like very similar to it.
Yeah,
and like
so he goes to his wardrobe and picks out
a character. Think about all the characters that he has designed. It's just like, Nomura is a drip god. Like this guy could be the best dressed man on planet Earth if he wanted to. But then like he'll like when he does appear and when he does give us an appearance, he'll be in like a generic shirt, shorts, and flip flops, and I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Did he also design FFX, Caden?
Yes, he's a
Yeah.
character designer on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like quite obvious when you look at like a
look at faces, yeah.
yeah.
Mismatched legs, mesh shorts, with like zippers, yeah. I mean, Lulu, she's just made out of belts,
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
But, cool. So
I just got a quick question. This is my favorite convention question when like we're shooting content. You're trapped on a desert island. It's you and one Pokemon. What Pokemon are you gonna have there to eat?
To eat?
Yes. Oh, got the reaction. It's perfect.
No.
Dude, there's some tasty Pokemon. There's so many tasty Pokemon.
Yo.
Oh man, that's fucked up.
That's
Some
why
can't
it's such a good question to ask.
Some can provide without killing them. Miltank.
I mean, that's true. That's actually true.
I got a lot of honey.
I got a lot of
Just
Slurpuff.
sitting on a bench, sucking on a milk tank.
You don't have to suck on the milk tank to eat. You can just be like, you can find like a glass or something.
Some will spill.
Yeah, we can't let any of that sweet, sweet nectar spill.
Just like Luke Skywalker, dude, with that thing.
Take it from the source.
The Pokemon that I think that would actually taste tasty are like cuties, and then I'm like, I don't want to eat these cuties. Like, there's the dough dog, and like
get those Cinnabon ears,
and then like the apple pie Pokemon.
Hell yeah.
I was like, oh, they're so cute. Like, I don't. I'd probably have to say like Vanilla Ice or something like that. Like, it's just like, because they're not cute. I'm sorry. Like, if you think those Pokemon are cute, they're not. And it's just like, you can make some ice cream for me, and I'm like,
and
potentially you get a little bit of like, you're not as dehydrated if you're like licking on the ice part and stuff.
Do you think if you like lick a portion of its body off, but then like pour water on it to like refreeze it, does that
it grows back? Yeah.
become part of its body, or does that not count? Like,
I think
is it renewable?
It would
like salt water kill it.
You'd get the ice, you'd get the water, but like it wouldn't affect them really in any way. Like if you poured like hot water on them, it'd just be like, oh, water's coming out, but it's still just like a frozen mat.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yo, the sea salt though, Steven. We get the sea salt ice cream, vanilla, Kingdom Hearts crossover. Full circle.
Baby.
Full circle. Yeah.
I just want to quickly ask about writing, and obviously you got a book on the way, but also freelancing and writing reviews and stuff like that. Like, how far? Because obviously when you're trying to do it as a job, you got to make sure that freaking whatever you're doing it is eventually making you some money and stuff. But like, how far do you let an idea like come together, or how much do you put down in words when you are pitching? Like, where's your cutoff point? Because I'm sure a lot of people are different. Like, you might be so sold on a particular pitch, and you might go too far and you never get it to green light. So what's your method when pitching?
It's kind of complicated because like sometimes I'll pitch something and they're like, yeah, sure, let's go for that, and I'll start like writing 2 paragraphs. I'm like, no, this was a terrible idea, and I don't want to do this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's like sometimes you like have like the base idea, but then like when you start writing it, it just like doesn't really come together, and you just kind of have to be like, well, crap. Like, do I, is there a way I can make it so you either like finish it and it doesn't really come together and you're kind of like disappointed with it, or you just like trash it and it's like, I'm actually not doing this anymore. And normally your editor will be like, okay, sure. And so it really just kind of depends. With the book, it's like I can write whatever I want, and then like and then when I'm done with the chapter, thankfully Alexa's like went to school for English and stuff like that. She is much more talented than I am, let me just say. And like she'll be like she can go through edits and be like, hey, this is the things that you need to work on, and then I like I fix it, and then eventually like when we're done with the book, we'll have to submit it to limited run, and they'll like probably give their feedback as well. But right now it's just kind of like when we need to like reach out and just be like, hey, like here's this, like what are your thoughts, and go from there. And there are some chapters as well that we're like co-writing. So it's but we haven't like really we're kind of working on our own stuff right now because we can do that whenever we want. And then like when we get done with that, because that's kind of like the easier part, then we'll come together and figure out like how we want to approach the co-written chapters, because I've never co-written something before like that. So it's more like she's kind of steering the ship, you know what I mean? Like and I like, she was just nice enough to be like, yo, do you want to do this with me? And I'm like, hell yeah, I want to do this with you. So that's kind of like the process there. And so yeah, it really just kind of depends on what and this is like specifically for opinionated pieces, right? This is like something where like I want to write a specific opinion on something. Like I one example that I have that I always think about is that like when they kind of when they announced the Switch Lite, and then they found out like, oh, like the HD rumble and like the motion controls aren't like a part of the system, and I'm like, that to me, that is super bad, like, because there are like certain games where it's like, you know, like Breath of the Wild has like these motion control only puzzles, and so it's basically blocking off certain content for their own games. And I was just like, and to me I was like, oh, this is really anti-consumer. And then like when I like kind of was talking about it to like my editor at the time, they were just like, I get what you're trying to do, but this feels a little extreme on what you're trying to say. And I'm like, okay, like, and so I kind of had to kind of reflect on it a bit and like think about how I could like rephrase it and like make it feel a little bit more I don't want to say good faith, but I do think that like, you know, your stuff, everything you write, whether it's like news, editorial, like opinionated pieces, it all has to be in good faith, because if not, then one, you're bad at your job. Two, like you're gonna get like blacklisted, or you're gonna like, people are not going to want to associate themselves with you.
Yeah.
And
I guess, who are you writing for? Is that question?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know?
Yeah, like, because I don't think that we have a real problem in games like media with that. We do have issues on like people not understanding how fucking reviews work, though. Like that's like or specifically scored reviews, and that's like a whole nother like discussion. But yeah, so that's kind of like how I approach it, and everyone's different, and everyone, because like another thing is like I'm a pretty slow writer. Like I know people that can like get pieces out super fast. I'm just like, yo, I can't do that. I really can't. And so like I'm a little bit slower when it comes to those things. Like not slow enough where like I can't do like, you know, a daily quota where like, because most people like from my experience have to write like somewhere between 3 to 5 articles a day, whether it's news or whatever. And so like
shout out to like Jill Grote and stuff that's running Indie Informer, like, man.
Yeah, so machine.
Yeah, so it depends on, and I don't know about like Indie Informer, but like just from like the sites that like, from just people that I know that work at sites, as well as like my own experience, like that's normal, that's the norm. And it depends, and also it depends on like like how many characters, like character minimum, word minimum, like things like that. So it's a case by case basis.
Gotcha. Well, I apologize in advance, Jonah, for about to unleash the beast. We may just have to axe like the game later or something, but we have basically a unicorn on the podcast right now. Like, you don't just find people that are caught up on the Trails series, let alone have played it.
Oh my god! Okay.
So at least this won't be an argument, because none of us have played Trails. It's more going to be a monologue. But I just have to ask you, Cam, to just like, you know, sell Trails to us, like, especially as like JRPG fans. Like, what are we missing? What are we gonna love about Trails?
Yeah, you just want to do the pitch first, or like we can scrap the game and just do the pitch later and have Cam pitch the Trails series to us.
I mean, so this will be the
I mean, I can do a general pitch of the series, but I will, when I do my pitch, I focus on the first game. So we can base this all on Trails.
Here. We'll just do a pitch mini right now. Cam,
a little teaser.
Cam, I'm gonna have you walk up to the pitcher's mound. You got 2 minutes on the clock.
It's definitely gonna take more than 2 minutes, homie.
You got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay, so Trails Legend Hero series is peak gaming, y'all. Like when I played like probably like 3 to 5 of these games, and this is a long series. This is like 11 games so far, and there's more coming. This series has fundamentally made other games worse for me. Where I'm just like, no, I swear to God, like where I'm playing these games and I'm playing other games and I'm just like other JRPGs, not all the time, but like most of them, and I'm just like, why can't you be Trails? Why can't you be like Trails? And this is why. So basically, Trails is, and we're all anime sickos here too. So Trails is the One Piece of video games. And for some people, that's going to be like, oh, I can't wait. But for other people, that you're going to be super turned off by that idea. Because, like, you know, I'm in the anime too. One Piece hasn't really grabbed me, and I'm pretty far into it. I'm not going to lie. I've given it an honest try. But, like, anyway, that's a whole other discussion.
I understand. I get it.
So basically, the concept of Trails is each number of games are separated into different arcs, and it's all an ongoing story, but each arc takes place in a different country or location and focuses on a particular cast of characters. I'm going to base this based off the first arc because 1, I think it's the best arc, and 2, it's the beginning, and I think you should start in the beginning.
30 seconds.
Okay, can you start? There's no way. There's no way I can do this.
Let him cook.
You can start at any arc, but should you? No, you should start at the beginning. And basically, the first arc is the Sky arc, which takes place in a country called Liberl. Liberl like kind of comes across as like a very medieval kind of European vibes. And their main character,
30 seconds.
The main character is Estelle, and she has an adopted brother named Joshua, and they basically go on this journey around Liberl, and like they go to like all of the key cities and stuff like that. And they're a part of the Bracer Guild. The Bracer Guild is like a government recognized organization that is basically a mutual aid where anyone can come and pay them to do certain jobs. It doesn't have to be like, oh, we need you to kill this thing. It can be like solving mysteries. It can be like, oh, I need help organizing books at the library. And this may sound like, oh, like, so these are basically like,
Boy Scouts.
these are basically like those kind of the fetch quests, and it's not like that. And even for the ones that may feel like that, every quest that you do, every request that you do, you learn something about the world. You learn something about like the town you're in. You learn something about the overarching continent of Zemuria, and as you progress through, the world building and characters are just unmatched. They're incredible.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, so for our listeners, that's the sneak peek for the pitch.
That was a 3-minute pitch. I gave you an extra minute. What's the world like? What's the world that they live in?
So it's a continent, not a planet. A continent called Zemuria.
Zemuria,
that's important.
So it's the Boy Scouts of Zemuria.
They're not Boy Scouts.
I know. I'm just going off of Mateo's joke.
Yeah, because they have to be like they get trained. You have to pass a test. That's like kind of like how the beginning of the game starts, and like you have to meet certain like requirements to become a bracer.
Mm-hmm. They have badges.
And when this is like the logo. I have a tattoo of it. It's kind of hard to see, but and basically, when they become bracers, they're junior bracers, and they want to become senior bracers. So they go across they go to all the key branches in Liberl to get a letter of recommendation or a recognition from each branch. And once you get all the letters, then you become a senior bracer. And there's also like a ranking system too. Like their dad is an S, like one of the few S-ranked bracers in the entire continent. So he's like a very well-known figure, not just in Liberl, but across the world. So yeah, it's a really, really great series. And the main reason why they actually go around the continent is because their dad goes missing. Like they're like, hey, they get like a letter. They get like a letter from him saying like, hey, I need to go off and do this thing. And then, like, they're just like, okay, well, we're gonna find out where he is.
This is giving me mad Hunter x Hunter vibes, and I'm kind of in, honestly.
Yeah.
It's really great. The combat, it's turn-based. The combat's turn-based.
Mhm.
And I know that's a turn off for some people. I think turn-based is the best combat in video games, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And the kind of you basically have your normal attacks. You have crafts, which are basically abilities. But there's like, instead of just being able to kind of do it, you have a certain currency for it called CP, craft points, and that's how you can like do stuff. And then that's also how you can use like your ultimate move. And then you have your arts, and to use your arts, you have this thing called an orbment, which kind of looks like a pocket watch. And you have like that you have these
The drip.
you have these orbs that you collect, and the orbs, it's basically like a materia system. It's a better
cool.
materia system. And so like what's really cool about it in the original Sky games, because they dumb it down over time, which makes me sad because I think it's really good in this one. There's like this line system where everyone's orbment is different. And so if I were to put like 6 orbs of different colors and like mix and match them, every time it's likely going to be a different list of arts.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So
I
it's
get what you
really
mean.
cool. It's really cool. So like once you get to a certain point, like there are obviously certain characters that are kind of meant to be like your healer, but you don't have to do it that way.
Nice.
You know, kind of like Materia and Final Fantasy. But like, yeah, when you get to like certain points, you like have like a laundry list of spells, and it's like or arts, and it's like it's so satisfying, like just seeing your art list get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Dude.
And again, just the writing is phenomenal. The world building is phenomenal. Like the party of that arc, I would say, because there's one character in particular that doesn't get introduced until the second game, but like that main party of characters is my favorite traditional JRPG party in any JRPG. So, like, incredible characters.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, better than Donald and Goofy, huh? That's crazy.
I said traditional party. I said traditional party.
Caden, get us out of here.
All right, let's get back on the rails.
One last thing I'll say too is that one last thing. The what makes that party so good is how they use the characters to do the world building. Because like, without getting into the exact specifics, is like one of your party members is from a different country up north called Erebonia, and they're a very militarized like nation. While again, Liberal is kind of like they're a monarchy, so there's a queen, but they kind of like try to avoid conflict. They're kind of like the Finland, or like, you know what I mean, like the Norway, like trying not to engage in like the because it's a lot of political drama. Like the story's like very political drama. And my favorite anime is Naruto, and I love Naruto for the politics, like the political like Naruto is a political drama first and foremost, and I will not hear anything else about it. And so and so like you'll have him who's from Erebonia, and then you have this girl who's like a student from Liberal, but she's from but it's like a very like prestigious academy, and then like you learn more about her later, and then you have another character who is a bracer, but he's from Calvard, which is the eastern country, and he's like it's very like kind of very like Chinese cultural, like he kind of looks like not like a monk, but like a Taito fighter. If that makes sense. And so like you get like these like droplets of like, oh, this is what's beyond Liberal,
right?
And you get that through the characters, and so you have this like diverse characters of cultures and things like that just makes the whole thing just like so good and so well realized. And then when
I assume you get to like explore those cultures and like the other arcs.
When you get to further arcs, you're just like, like, you know, because like one of the later arcs is Erebonia, and it's like, oh, I finally get to see what Erebonia is like. I get to go to these key towns like I did in Liberal, and then the current arc is in Calvard, and so like this character that I haven't seen for like years, like, you know, and for people that have been playing the series since the beginning, they haven't seen this character in well over a decade, and he's finally back, and it's just like, what has happened to this character since then? It's like it's incredible, y'all. Incredible. Anyway, I'm done now.
You've sold me so hard on it. It might be like my next game after I finish Metaphor.
Trails in the Sky is the first game. Trails in the Sky. This is the first game. It's on Steam. It goes on sale for $10 like all the time.
Let's fucking go. Sick. All right. Well, thank you so much, the godfather of the debate, Jonah Gomez, for humoring our indulgence.
I tried to give 2 minutes and we still were gone for like 10.
I shall now turn over the hosting duties to you, my friend, for the debate.
Welcome back to the debate, everyone. I hope you're at the club because I want you to grind on me. We've got a grinding good or bad debate with Cam Hawkins representing grinding being good versus Caden representing grinding being bad. We also have Steven as our assist trophy. Cam, as our guest, would you like to start or close the debate today?
I'll close.
I'll close
the debate.
All right.
Yeah.
Caden.
Test the weakness. Yeah.
Caden, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1, grind.
Okay, well, you've got kind of two schools of grinding. Like, there's a lot of hardcore, especially like old RPGs where like you have to grind, and like a lot of especially more modern RPGs, you know, it's kind of like a preference if you want to engage in the grinding or not, but a lot of the times you don't have to. But on the topic of games where like you have to grind, that's really where it kind of becomes egregious to me, where it kind of just feels like padding or filler, you know, where it's like the only thing you're doing is just fighting the same enemies over and over again just to level up so that you're strong enough to like beat the boss or whatever that's like stopping you from making progress in the game. And when you're doing that, it really feels like you're just spinning your wheels on a treadmill, and it doesn't feel like there's any like skill involved. Like you're just killing things just to level up so you're strong enough to like beat the next boss. And that just, you know, it's stale. It feels like it ruins the pacing, you know, especially the one that comes to mind for me is Dragon Quest VIII. Like, holy shit, there's a brick wall in the middle of that game where you finally come up against the villain Dulmagus, and like he tore my shit up so hard. I thought it was a scripted loss. Like I was like, oh, okay, he beat me, scripted loss, whatever. And I'm just sitting there waiting for the cutscene, and then it's like game over, back to main menu, and I was like, what? And like I had to go and spend like, you know, 3 or 4 hours grinding just to level up a few times. And yeah, so that process of grinding to get strong enough to beat Dulmagus, it wasn't like it was fun. It wasn't like a Rocky moment of like, you know, running up the steps and like pumping my fist in front of the building or whatever. It was just like, holy shit, when is this gonna end? I've been killing like fucking slimes for like 5 hours, and now I can finally beat Dulmagus and get on with the story. So I'll leave it there. See those 5 seconds. Take them, Jonah.
Leaving 5 seconds on the table. Gotta love it. All right, Cam.
We take those 5 seconds, we give them to a needy debater somewhere in the country. It's a charity thing is what it is.
Cam, you've got 2 minutes on the clock for your opening statement. 3, 2, 1, grind.
Yeah, I think grinding can definitely be a good thing that adds on to the experience of a JRPG in particular. I think that when you think about certain JRPGs, like Dragon Quest 3 in particular, I played that earlier this year. There are definitely moments where you have to grind and like better yourself and better your team, and I like that because you're going on an adventure, you're going on a journey, and like to me, it's like a sense of immersion into a video game. I like being immersed in JRPGs and like the adventures I'm going on with the characters I'm interacting with, and like if this boss is like, you know, a minion of the big bad, then I expect that to be a challenge. And I like when I actually like when I get my ass kicked, because then I'm just like, okay, I need to put in the work to overcome this obstacle, to overcome this hill. And then when you go back and think about, like when you finish a game and you finish a JRPG, you finish that journey, you go back and you think about the achievements that you made along the way. At least for me, like for JRPGs, the two things that I really care about is like the sense of adventure and like the story that happens along the way. And I think that grinding is a good gameplay way especially if the combat is good enough. And normally I prefer turn-based combat, so normally I don't have an issue with that. I like the moments where you kind of have to re-examine your team. You have to re-examine your options of what to change and work for that hurdle that you have to overcome.
Nice. Leaving 7 seconds on the table. Loving it.
Final Fantasy 7.
Awesome. Mateo, as my secondary judge, I know you're all about writing them notes. How are these boys grinding today?
They both have kind of dropped 2 solid points on each side. I'm waiting to see where they go at. I am excited for Cam's argument because I think he has chosen the harder side of this argument. So I appreciate that. I dig that in a guest argument that grinding in games is good.
All right, Steven, what are your 2 cents as the assist trophy?
I don't want to give too much away, but I don't mind me a grind. So yeah, but at the same time, we're pretty much an even slate. 2 points brought up very well. So we'll see really when the fifths come out in the rebuttal.
Awesome. No, I'm loving this. Like these 2 gentlemen have said, you both are even tier right now. We're getting into a good one. Let's turn up the heat for the rebuttal. Caden, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, debate.
Steven, assist trophy, go!
All right.
So Ice Cube once penned. Ice Cube once penned. You can do it. Put your back into it. But the worst thing about grinding is like if you're wearing jeans. So my thing is
15 seconds.
Wear some slacks, some sort of chinos or whatever, so there's a bit more movement there, so it's less uncomfortable. And also I've spent 12 hours grinding a shiny Dratini. Was it worth it? No, fuck no.
Steven,
why did I do that?
Steven, thoughts on sweatpants?
After. Caden, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. Go.
Okay. How about some alternatives to grind? If you're gonna put in the effort to pad out your game with grinding, then maybe you should invest the time and resources into just adding different systems into the game to replace the grinding to make it more fun. Skill-based progression. I know technically you could grind in Dark Souls, but really the grind in that game is the skill-based get good grind, and that's a lot more satisfying. It's I could just leave Ornstein and Smo for 10 hours and come back 30 levels higher with a higher level weapon and just kick their asses or whatever, but it's way more satisfying to just focus up, learn their patterns, see the matrix, and then you finally get that win where you don't even get hit at all. So good. I also think maybe you could replace the grinding, the character progression of grinding, with just other fun activities, getting the progression of your characters, the stat increases or the gear from other sources, solving puzzles or exploring, something you do in Zelda. So it's instead of me running through this dungeon front to back 30 times I've been doing a Metaphor Fantasio or whatever, just put a couple extra rooms in the dungeon with I don't know, just a sliding block puzzle or whatever, and then give me
seconds.
A stat bonus or something. I also really like the balance of level caps in RPGs to circumvent grinding. Chain to Echoes is a really good example for me. You don't really grind for levels in that game. The game gives you levels to spend at checkpoints throughout the story. So to actually progress your character, you progress the story. So the pacing of your character and the story are married together, and it's just so chef's kiss.
Time. Finishing out the full 2 minutes. Very good. I'm glad you brought some examples of games that don't feature grinding. I appreciate that. Cam, you've got 2 minutes on the clock. You still have your assist trophy if you'd like to use them. 3, 2, 1, debate.
I am using my assist trophy.
Okay. Steven, go.
Now, you fell into our trap, Caden. You said you can come back 30 levels later and just fucking kick ass against Ornstein. That's exactly what I'm gonna do, baby. Great sword. Level frickin' 17. Great sword. Determination. Frickin' 2-hit Margit. Do you know how good that feels? That is fucking fantastic game design, baby. I am all about just that feeling of being a god in a video game. Hell yeah.
You got 5 seconds to talk about sweatpants.
Yeah, hey, sweatpants. Show me that dirt.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, first off, pro shorts, that's how you deal with the grinding issue. Pokemon shiny grinding is not the same as the topic we're discussing, so that's irrelevant. When it comes to your argument of like doing something different, like there weren't very many like options that you tossed out there, and so like based off of what you said, if all the JRPGs did that, they would feel very samey regardless of like their mechanics. And so like I don't think that saying like, oh, like no game should have grinding and then like all of these specific things like should be as a replacement. I think grinding has its place. I think that there are certain like again games based off how they're designed where grinding does make sense because of the way that they are trying to tell its story or give you that sense of adventure. Because like I like when you get to like you have these stories where you see that these enemies or you see that these characters are forces to be reckoned with, and then you go on this journey, you see yourself growing more and more as you continue to interact with certain characters, and then you finally get to that one boss that you've been like, it doesn't even have to be like the final boss, but it's like this one guy that you know that you're going to fight at a certain point, and then you just think about like, I've come this far and I've grown this much and I've overcome these achievements, and you may still get your ass kicked, and then you're like, oh crap, I need to go back, I'm still not ready. It's like it's the narrative payoff as well as the gameplay payoff that makes me think that like grinding does have a place in JRPGs.
Leaving it there?
Is that? Yep.
Okay, leaving 15 seconds on the table. Ooh.
That was a pretty good rebuttal.
That was a very good rebuttal. That is a very good rebuttal. Steven, as the assist trophy, I know you had some thoughts on this round, but let's hear your take moving forward.
There's a couple in my opinion headcanon about grinding and stuff, that a couple coup de grace that haven't come up yet. So I'm interested to see if they ever do, because there's a lot of systems involved in grinding and not definitely. Caden brought up a couple. The antithesis of grinding ideas, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, interested to see where it finally lands. See if anyone gets my hot topics in the grinding space.
Damn, yeah. Steven should have debated.
I'm kind of with you. There's like a couple points where I've kind of wanted them to say something about, and they haven't really. Like one game in particular that hasn't been really talked about. Yeah, Mateo. How you feeling, man?
I am also hoping that they talk more about Fortnite, Jonah.
Yeah. Gotta grind those levels. Gotta grind the levels on the battle pass. Come on, let's go. Get them dubs, get them battle stars, progress through the battle pass. Let's go.
Get them clicker games.
Get them clicker games. Lumberjack Heroes. Here we go. All right. Moving into the final round. Getting your guys' closing thoughts. The assist trophy has been used for both competitors. Caden.
But if you get the reboot van, though, and you hold it for 10 seconds, then you can repop.
You've got 2 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so it's grinding in its worst form. It's kind of the super villain of gaming, in my opinion. when you start getting into like freemium pay to win games, especially shit, like Genshin Impact with like the literal slot machine banner pools and shit like that, and like if you're not paying money in those games and you're trying to keep up with the new characters and stuff, you're talking about like hours of redoing the same content over and over again just for like a chance at like it's literally like the Pokemon Shiny basically, like as like a core game mechanic in those games. And the other egregious thing for me is like using grinding as like the end game. This is kind of just like the ultimate of like using grinding as filler. Like even my beloved Monster Hunter, I think of like Monster Hunter Rise, I guess is the most recent one I think of. You reach the end game of that, and they introduce a brand new system in the end game where you can basically in that game too pull a slot machine to get like random abilities like on your gear, and so you have to just fight the same monsters over and over and over again, dozens, hundreds of times, just to get like a currency to like pull the slot machine on your armor, hoping to get that like god roll. And that shit sucks, man. And the worst offender really is the hunter rank system in Monster Hunter, because you'll have like a hot new monster like Valstrax, is the fucking jet engine dragon. And I'm like, cool, I haven't played Monster Hunter Rise since I beat it at launch. Let me hop into fight Valstrax. And it's like, oh, you stop playing after you beat the game, so you're all at Hunter rank 10. And even though you have the gear and the skill to totally beat Valstrax, you're just not going to be able to fight Valstrax at all until you're Hunter rank 100. So go play the game for 30 hours until 100, and then you can fight Valstrax. And then I just uninstall the game again. So anyway.
Time. All right. Cam, we're at the end of the debate. It's your time to shine. 3, 2, 1, go.
When I heard the prompt of grinding, I think of traditional grinding. I think of I need to keep fighting enemies to level up to overcome some sort of battle or some sort of wall. And so for me, all those other examples that have been said don't really apply to this debate, in my opinion. I think that with grinding, you can make the modern argument and you can make the old school argument. Like for the old school argument, they made it because they only had like so much that they can build and they used it to fill time, right? Nowadays it's more modern. It feels like a time sink. Like I'm spending too much time doing this, and it's not, and you feel like it may not be respecting your time. In my opinion, if you feel that way, you probably don't like this game that much and you should just play a different game. But I think that games that do implement grinding properly, it is because it has a great battle system. It has an immersive world. It has a story that you're invested in, and you get like the grinding is used to overcome those obstacles, to make you think back once credits roll on like the adventure that you went on, in both, again, gameplay and narrative, that I personally think adds to the experience and makes a really great it can be used as a great mechanic. It can I will admit that it can be used poorly, but it can be used in a great way that adds on to the experience.
Leaving it there?
Yep.
Another 15 seconds on the table. Man, Cam is giving to those hungry debaters out there, and we greatly appreciate your donation. I'm gonna start off with the voting, and you know what? I came into this debate extremely biased, thinking that grinding is a bad gameplay mechanic. But Cam, you brought the heat. You just debated it super well. You're getting my vote. Man, Caden, I was really. There were a couple points I was really hoping you
steal these fucking guns. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You gotta. Now that
I'm
the debate
surprised
is
you didn't
over.
mention that it was a waste of time. That grinding is like a waste of time.
Yeah,
that was the thing that I was like surprised you didn't say.
Yeah,
I said it was filler. That's implied. It's filler.
Yeah, but you can't really imply in a debate. You gotta say it.
We have no literacy. You
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was
waiting for you to go with the
Me saying it was
Bravely
for the
Default,
roots basically was
the Dragon Quest 11. Like, if you're giving me auto battle with 3 times fast forward, I'm not even playing the game at this point. What's the point in grinding?
A point in favor of grinding of like quality of life features. I'm surprised Cam's didn't bring that one up.
But you're not playing the game. That's not playing the game. That's just sitting there while the game's playing it.
Okay, yeah, there's auto battle.
Which, that brings up there. Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
and then I was hoping you were gonna bring in like Sea of Stars, a game that sure it has XP, but it doesn't have it's milestone based.
He brought up Chained Echoes with milestone based. So,
but like just bringing up more of the turn-based RPGs having the milestone, and games like Chained Echoes and Sea of Stars that have different kinds of mechanics in the games to make the combat a lot more engaging, so you don't need to grind to get strong enough. You can have the get good and play the game. But
there's a meta reason for all this that I'll reveal once the voting is taking place.
All right. Steven, I know you also had points in the debate that you wanted to bring up. We got 1 point for Cam so far.
Correct impacts.
Look at that. Look how happy does that make you?
Why? Okay.
That's what grinding gets you, baby. Like
the
kind of shit that grinding gets you.
So we're recording a podcast, right? You can't just show just visual media.
No, you can. That was a full art Slowpoke, which is the derpiest Pokemon, and it's so freaking amazing. Anyway, Caden may have wanted to tank his own debate because he may be a full true grinder at heart, but the points he made I thought were actually really, really good. Especially right at the end. That actually, even though I wasn't thinking about it at all, was an amazing freaking little coup de grace, because talking about coming back to any RPG, or even like Shadow of the Erdtree, and being like, oh, you have to have beaten this, and this. So it's like, I had started a new save file, but hadn't gotten through mode because I was doing region lock and stuff. And so it was just like, oh shit, now I'm going to go freaking just hard hammer it. And I was playing as a soul greatsword and all this sort of stuff. And I had to change tact because it expected so much of me, and I really dislike that. I do like it when the game allows you to be like, start a level 35 character and go straight into the DLC. Sick, no worries, awesome. So I do think that Monster Hunter idea of coming back and you've finished the game and it's like, I can't just play the DLC. It's like, no, you have to stay with it for 4 years. You're like 4 years behind on content or whatever. Like, that's where I think, for me, the debate was won. My big things for pro grinding is, when I did bring up grinding for shinies, getting a full odds shiny makes grinding feel so fantastic. When you're just leveling up Pokemon and then just a shiny shows up, it's like, holy shit, this is the buzz. Like, this is video games. This is video games. And that's the same as a metal slime, right? Or the cat cheese or whatever they are in Octopath. Those like awesome XP freaking monsters that you just get, and it just gives
XP
you all
pinata.
Like, exactly, XP pinata. It makes it feel so much worth it, but plus job systems. If I'd brought up the fact that when you're grinding and you're leveling up, you're getting these abilities that make the fights more engaging and more fun, and then you're swapping out job roles, that's where I would have, grinding would have won the day for me, because I'm not as much, again, about just leveling up to level 70 just so I can beat the next boss. And I got to level up to level 80 to beat the next boss. So just like with that last little hit, it just tipped the scales for me for Caden for the win.
Even Stevens, tiebreaker. Here we go.
All right, Mateo, let's hear your thoughts as our tertiary judge.
I also agree. I think this debate was a lot closer than I was personally expecting to be. I came in with bias. Grinding is bad. I'm tired of grinding in games. I think that Caden really did win a lot of points when he brought up the concept of this milestone progression. Because D&D's been in my mind recently, and D&D with XP points is the worst. Is the absolute worst.
Yeah.
D&D with milestones, sick. It's the best form of D&D.
100%.
But Cam and Steven brought up this concept of coming back and playing, like, being overpowered as hell in a game. Like, grinding the hell out of it, getting overpowered, and just being the force, like, to be reckoned with in a game. There's this guy in Final Fantasy Tactics. He's named Argath. He's one of your companions. He betrays you early on, and nothing is better than power leveling yourself up and mollywopping the shit out of him. He is such a dick in that game. But so honestly, this debate ended kind of even for me. So I've got a little flip a coin thing here.
Shit!
Wow! Don't do a flip a coin. Nah, that's wild.
And Cam is heads, and Caden is tails.
That's wild.
Oh, he does.
And Caden gets it.
That's what happens in an RPG. Like, looks like you didn't get the loot drop that you wanted.
That's whack. No.
You got gray weapons, unfortunately.
You can't judge something to chance like that. That's crazy.
That is a little wild. That is a great game debate first. Yeah, for sure. We'll go
red card on the panel.
Take heart, Cam, because our votes don't actually matter because the true winner is decided by our community vote. So,
speaking of our community vote,
but I also want to say really quick that, like, I think we had different definitions on what we meant by grinding, and my whole basis was based off of, like, JRPG, like, you were leveling up to overcome this threat, not like grinding in a gotcha game and stuff like that. So that was just like, oh, we're talking about like any other stuff too, and I wasn't really prepared for that.
Before we move on,
that's the reason I didn't drop the yellow card there for the violation when you were like, well, here's how I'm defining grinding. I was like, they never really talked about it, so it's not a violation.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm just like a complete Steven hit the nail on the head. I'm just a sham. I fucking love grinding.
Yeah.
And the reason I had to bring in gotcha games and shit is because I wasn't sure which side of the debate I was going to be on, and I was trying to make a list of points for each side, and like my pro grinding points list is like 3 times as long. I was reaching for cons on like
playing
bad
as a
grinding,
great shield build in Elden Ring. You had to grind your ass off.
That's so true.
That still disgusts me, bro. That is so gross.
It is so gross.
All right. Well, my fantastic transition that Caden had set me up for is long gone. So we'll talk about our last debate, which was old school versus new school when it comes to old games versus old games, with our homie Hunter representing retro games versus Jacob McCourt representing modern games, eking it out by 2 points. And we actually had a lot more votes than we normally do on this one. Eking it out with 2 extra votes was Jacob McCourt. Congratulations, sir. You did an excellent job on that debate. Round of applause.
I still think, definitely round of applause. Modern games are better, but Hunter saying that old games aren't copying new games was fucking hilarious.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
It's like, I let me point out that an old game has never copied a new game.
Iconic.
So
maybe my favorite debate moment of all time.
That is fantastic. And with that, we'll move on to the GGD-List Mini.
Okay, my friends, it is time for another segment of GGD-List Mini. Our guest, Cam here, will have the power to peruse our library of community-provided prompts. Pick one he so desires and add any one game to it. And then we will decide where to rank that game as a group in our ever-growing Hall of Greats, the GGD-List. So, Cam, what is the prompt that has plucked on your heartstrings?
100-year time capsule.
All right. And what is the game that you have brought?
Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix.
Ooh.
Okay. Let me give you a couple minutes here just to, kind of tell us why you love this game so much and why you decided to bring it for this
Do we need a couple moons?
Why do future generations need this game?
Yeah. I mean, like, there's some super personal reasons as to why this is my favorite game of all time. But like, why I think this is really great for this particular prompt is that one, I think it would serve as a really cool history piece of the history of Square Enix and Disney at this, at that point in time. I think as a game, again, I think that we talked about this earlier. I think the combat in this game is this in my opinion is like the best action RPG I've ever played. The combat is incredibly well done, fluid, so much variety in what you can do as Sora with all the different forms, different magic, different abilities. Like, it wasn't until like Dante and Devil May Cry 5 where I actually thought that, like, oh, they created a character with more tools than Sora in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like,
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and which is just such an accomplishment. So shout out to DMC5 for that one thing. But like, yeah, I just think like, Kingdom Hearts 2 to this day is still regarded, I think, objectively as a top 5 PS2 game. I think it is the best game in the Kingdom Hearts series. I think that if you play this game 100 years from now, it is going to hold up like fine wine because it's been 20 years since this game has come out, and even when if you went back to the original PS2 without like the updated visuals and stuff, I still think this game would hold up incredibly well. Again, one of if not the best suite of bosses in a video game. All the boss fights are fun, they're different, like the different mechanics. You have the iconic meme Dance Water Dance where Demix is like creating these water clones using his guitar as a weapon, which is really cool. And then you have like Luxford where you're playing a card game and you are like, you don't have like traditional health bar. It is like basically you're kind of like I don't remember if it's exactly like a luck meter, but like it's basically like once the actual you have opposing meters, and when they go out, like, the person wins. And so like the way that and this is just like for every boss fight where they just introduce like new mechanics and ways for that particular fight that just make every fight feel great. On top of like the reaction command system in Kingdom Hearts 2 is amazing. Like the way that they implemented that system it's really simple where you just press triangle at the right time, but they make the game feel like cinematic in a way that you are contributing to. It's not like, oh, it's all this cool stuff is happening in a cutscene. It's like, no, it's a part of the actual battle itself. And so I think that, and I also think the story is really great. I think the final boss is a top 10 final boss of any video game. I think it has, and like from just like a narrative perspective and just like what you're doing, it also has some of the best like secret bosses of all time with Lingering Will, that people still talk about to this day.
One thing that's funny is that Enter the Spider-Verse the end of Enter the Spider-Verse reminds me of the final boss
shit
of KH2.
Oh yeah,
like it is very similar.
Yeah, it's just really incredible, and I think again, just as a piece of like video game history to document with this, again, this collaboration of Square Enix and Disney that shouldn't work but does really well, is a really cool thing to to catalog and keep as a piece of history. So
what do you think about the fact that Xemnas is an anagram for man 6?
What? What?
The fuck?
I'm looking at the list. I'm looking at the list, and I see that Steven has put PT like having urine on your shirt, and then you say that.
I'm sorry. That was a very beautiful account of your love for Kingdom Hearts 2.
Also, one last thing I want to say too is that like Kingdom Hearts, I would say like it started with Kingdom Hearts 1, but like Kingdom Hearts 2 in particular started post-credit scenes. Not MCU.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts did that shit.
Yeah.
Like the first time that you see the fucking the fight between Terra Aqua and Ventus versus Xehanorts is
Keyblade Graveyard.
In the Keyblade Graveyard is one of the core video game memories I can detail.
I will say the Keyblade Graveyard is one of the coolest settings ever. It's so sick.
Yeah.
There's this huge battlefield, all these different Keyblades. It's really fucking cool. It's anime as fuck, dude. It's so
cool because you go into, these three fuckers walk up. They're all in armor. You have no idea who they are. And then you see this old man and you're just like, who the fuck is this? And then you see this masked dude that just appears next to him. It's like, who the fuck is this? And then you're just like, and then they start fighting, and you just have no idea what is happening. And it gets to the point where you see Ventus's face, and he looks like Roxas. Like, why does this guy look like Roxas? Who is this chick with blue hair? Who is this? And then the other dude is just like, and then when you get to the lingering will boss fight, it's like, this is the guy. This is the guy from the post-credit scene. And then on top of that is like, dude, it's just like the way that they were able to execute that scene in a narrative sense is unmatched. Like, there's never been another, like, a cooler, like, what the fuck is happening moment in a video game that I've played, where it's just, it just really just like kind of set the tone for the rest. Like, not, I wouldn't say the rest of the saga, but like a lot of shit moving forward. And yeah, dude, it was like, it was really, really incredible how they got all that to work. And yeah, I think that that's another thing that kind of should be discussed, is that we don't really think about that.
Yeah. The origin of the post-credit.
All I want to say is that it's great to put it in a time capsule too, because you weed out all the sickos. Like, just be like, sitting around the trash fire while they're playing the PS2 in the post-apocalypse, and they're just playing and they're watching, and just some guy goes,
yeah, with no defenders or apologists around, just in a vacuum, does it hold up?
I will say, you don't have to put a single Disney movie into a time capsule if you got Kingdom Hearts in there.
Steven, finish his joke. What's the punchline?
I come up next to you and say, what if their feet were bigger?
Oh, shit. Sword with no shoes on. Okay, so, Cam, just what is your gut reaction here? Just looking down the list from the top, number one, like, where would you rank this? And then we'll fight you about it.
I missed my opportunity. I had a perfect sound for that, but it's too late.
Oh, well.
I mean,
yes, you missed it.
For me, this is the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, I figured it would be a number one. So who's got to find out from number?
And I will also say, like, I think it is notably like, and I really love Wind Waker. I think it's notably better than Wind Waker.
That was the last person on the podcast moved it to number one.
Yeah, they just used their superpower.
It came
to
up
shoot
from like
up
30 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna say no. Just
right. Yeah.
It's that's my favorite Zelda game. I love Zelda game. Like, just gonna say no. Yeah,
no. Listen, we both got. We're both repping our franchises on our arms.
True.
Like,
that's true. Just to set the table.
Sorry. Yep.
Sorry. I just want to say, like, Cam's probably fighting an uphill battle just because he's like the only one on the panel that loves Kingdom Hearts this much. So it'll probably get knocked out a few as we go. But
you and Steven are also like are hot on Kingdom Hearts,
Bloodborne, or Baldur's Gate 3, or choose the Kingdom.
My first stopping point is
let's do a counter offer. Where do you think? Right. Where do you think, Caden?
Yeah, Steven. Well, no, Steven's just gave us a counter offer.
I just said 15 is probably my first stopping point above PT. Like, PT, it's a playable trailer. Yes, it's fantastic, and people want to jizzle over freaking Kojima and all that sort of stuff, and that's great. Yeah. Well done, good for you. I think it's a better game than PT.
Honestly,
here's something I'll say, because I know that number one is not going to happen, but here's what I'll say. Because I mean, I do think that looking at the top 10, there's some overrated games in this top 10. Let me tell you. I love Borderlands 2. like it's one of my favorite games. Kingdom Hearts 2 is better than Borderlands 2. I'm sorry.
I would agree with that.
Like and Mass Effect 2 is my third favorite game of all time.
Oh, wow.
And Kingdom Hearts 2 is better than Mass Effect 2. I don't.
Hayden, did you say you agree?
I'd shoot it up to like the wall for me personally is Elden Ring. Like I'd be fine putting it even at number 10.
Well, then I think maybe it does bump Borderlands just barely, because I would kind of agree. I think maybe it can be better than Borderlands.
Let's be honest here. Like Shadow of the Colossus. Like here's the thing.
Oh shit!
No, hold on. It influenced a lot of games. I'm not denying that. The game in and of itself is rough. It's a rough game.
Yeah, I bounced off it after like two Colossi. Yeah, I agree.
Like
100%. I agree.
I don't think there's many people that will like go back to Shadow of the Colossus and be like, yeah, that was a masterpiece that I just played. No. So no, you.
It was definitely a PS2 masterpiece. Yeah.
It did some great stuff, and it's very influential, but playing it is not that fun.
I hear you, but that doesn't allow you to leapfrog Elden Ring.
Yeah. that's the misdirection. You gotta get the
I mean, like, it's really comparing apples to oranges, but like the main things I'll mention is that honestly, story better, combat better, boss fights better.
I'm feeling. Hold on.
Then Elden Ring.
Yes.
I'm feeling that number 10. I'm feeling that number 10 is the sweet spot for Kingdom Hearts 2. I think that is,
which is already breaking Jonah's heart, and like he wants to quit the podcast.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I love Ocarina of Time, but it doesn't hold up as well as a lot of these other Zelda games. Like going from,
I'm more than happy for. I don't like having three
Zelda games in the top 10. Yeah.
Let's do it.
I like that. 100%. That adds variety to our top 10. I will say that a lot of my hate for Kingdom Hearts is I got hands-on with one, and I was with my wife the entirety of one, and that game
one is not aged well.
One is not a good game. I will agree with you. Okay, going from 1 to 2 is leaps and bounds a far superior game.
One has Halloween Town.
That's true.
2 has Halloween Town.
Yeah, but it's Christmas Town. It's
yeah. I agree with that, Steven.
No, like, okay. Like, there's more Halloween Town in the first one, sure, but still, like,
I'm just going to recuse myself from this, because here's the thing. I was already paying rent when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. So to me, the game is bad. It is very bad. I am too old for the game. It's fine that other people enjoy it. So I'm just going to recuse myself from this rank.
You can be an adult and start Kingdom Hearts. Like,
no, I don't believe in that.
I was an adult when I started
Disney
Kingdom
adult
Hearts.
Revisionist history.
I was an adult when I started Kingdom Hearts, and it was not the most pleasant journey that I've been on.
I tell this story a lot of beating a dead horse, but my introduction to Kingdom Hearts was spending summers at my grandparents' house, my grandma and her partner, and they were gamers as 60-something-year-old women, and they had a PS2. That was my first introduction to PS2 was my grandma's house, and they had a copy of Kingdom Hearts. They fucking loved Kingdom Hearts in their 60s.
Yeah, my grandma got me into Disney Zelda, adults. Bro. Me too. I'm with you, my guy.
All right, I think I don't know what point we're making. Can we finish up? We're at 10.
Yeah.
10 is solid.
Here's one thing I'm gonna.
He's got one last gambit.
Okay. I'm gonna make a deal. I'm gonna make a light deal.
Oh shit! Devil's bargain. Oh shit!
Let KH2 go to number 8. Because 1, 8 is actually my favorite number, so that makes me happy. And 2, in trade of that, I'll move Shadow of the Colossus down, so Elden Ring goes up 1.
Ooh. Okay, think about it. If there's really another game on the list that you think deserves to be a lot higher than it is, just give it one last look.
Yeah, let me take a look.
Just make sure you want to make this deal.
I haven't played it, but I feel like Symphony of the Night being in the 20s is too low.
Sure.
Just above Commander
Great.
Keen.
But I haven't played it, so I'm not going to make that argument. Oh man. I do see one that's way too low.
Yeah.
I mean,
There
unless
it
you want to be a
is.
homie, and just let it be an 8, then that's cool.
I think you're fighting an uphill battle. Like I don't
Yeah,
love
the
Shadow
problem is I'm
everyone
the
else
Shadow of the
does.
Colossus champion in the panel,
And
so
Elden Ring was
it's not going to
number
happen
one
without
for
a
a while.
deal.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
So
getting it at number 10
Top
is
10,
insane.
That's solid.
It is
That's solid.
insane.
It's not though.
It
On a
is.
podcast with Jonah and Mateo, it is.
Yeah, you're fighting an uphill battle.
I even pushed for it to go higher into the top 10.
Yeah, that's true. Newly entered into our top 10, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Kicking out Ocarina of Time. So, that takes us to number 9, Elden Ring. Number 8, Shadow of the Colossus. Number 7, Chrono Trigger. I barely know her. Number 6, Outer Wilds. Number 5, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Number 4, Baldur's Gate 3. Number 3, that confused me, God of War 2018. Number 2, Bloodborne. And number 1, Talav's Wood.
Or The Legend of
just
Zelda
say,
Wind Waker
like-
HD.
Yeah, what do you got for us, Cam?
I understand, like I to a certain degree, I understand it, but I could not get into Outer Wilds. I really could
Ooh,
not.
that
get
hurts.
Into it.
We've been real split on this panel too, but most of the
Yeah.
people that have said
Yeah.
I don't understand the love for it, I've never played the game.
I haven't
So I
either.
don't-
That has to be like one of the most divisive like games
Yeah.
in recent memory because like
Yeah.
I tried to
Dude.
get because everyone was
Which-
talking about how good it was, and I tried, and I'm like, these controls are abysmal, like
We've had-
abysmal controls. No,
We've had people come
abysmal.
on and tell us that it is the #1 game of all time. Easy, hands down, no problem.
I feel like
They
it's
should have
as
some
divisive
enemies
as
and
Kingdom
some
Hearts 1.
grinding.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 1, I think
That-
most
that's a
people
good
will
segue,
tell-
Jonah.
I think diehard Kingdom Hearts fans will tell you that the first game has not aged well. But they will also tell you that Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of the greatest games of all time.
Yes.
I like I said, I agree with you. I think Kingdom Hearts 2, gameplay wise, narratively, is better than 1. I just when you marathon, when you like genuinely marathon the series and you start off on that bad foot with Kingdom Hearts 1,
I mean,
But look at hold on. But look at Janet Garcia. Janet Garcia.
I moved to censure the panel, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just want to say Janet Garcia played it last year, and she like, even though she had issues with it, she likes Kingdom Hearts now.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying I don't.
Shut the fuck up.
You guys
Anyway,
agree to disagree. Okay, yeah. So let us move on, Cam, to your
So
pick here.
I'm wondering if I want to.
Tough. Talk us through your thought process here. It's a tough decision.
There's got to be a few on there
So-
that you like. There's
The
gotta be a
one-
couple.
The one that is abysmal, like
WCW, NWA Raw. Hell
Yeah.
no.
That one is underrated, is
Is
what's
that-
going on with that one.
Yeah, no, it's like too low on this list, and I think it needs to be moved up. But hold on. I didn't look at the rest of the list here. I'm gonna make a compromise for myself.
Ooh.
Because this is not my show, and like ultimately doesn't really matter for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to put Gold and Silver / Crystal at 11.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So
That's like
my top 3 favorite games of all time are in the top 15 right now. I'll take
Elden
that.
Ring, Kingdom
Hell
Hearts,
yeah.
and
Mass Effect 2.
The meme lives
Hell yeah.
on.
The
Yeah.
meme lives. So
That was like a 45 place jump. That's got to be like the biggest
Hell yeah.
ever we've had.
And
Um,
it deserves.
that's
It deserves.
that's
to be
two
there.
Pokemon bumps in 2 episodes. I am ecstatic. That's amazing.
how come
Yeah.
how come they don't trust Goofy with an actual weapon? How come he only gets a sword or a shield?
Cheer.
Because he's
He's
like,
goofy.
He's the guard. He's the guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Guards only get a shield? What good are they gonna do in combat with just a
Wait,
shield?
can
You haven't seen him
lost
use that
it.
shield.
Can we put /Crystal in there? Can we put /Crystal in there too?
Yeah. Put
Because
Slash
Crystal is like,
Oh, sure, yeah.
yeah.
Let's get it on there. Okay, so top 10 has not changed, but we've had a 45 place leap on Pokemon Gold and Silver up to number 11. Officially better than Ocarina of Time at number 12. Oh my god, Steven. It's Pokemon Crystal Meth now. All right. Well, we've done it, everyone. We have taken on the arduous task of ranking Kingdom Hearts 2 and righting the wrongs of the list. We made it to the end of the podcast. Congratulations. It is now time for our final thoughts. Cam, as our guest, we'll give you the floor for final thoughts. You can take this as an opportunity to shamelessly plug anything or just as a tangent to just talk about anything completely random and unrelated to anything, just whatever's on your mind.
Man, because we're talking about Elden Ring, can we talk about like Souls likes being a trend and that needs to stop? Like Souls like that, like I like Souls likes, like but like in general, people are making too many of them. We need to stop with that. Like
the problem is none of them are as good as the real ones, so that they need to make more so that
who's
there's more
making
competition.
games like Kingdom Hearts? Nobody, based off of your argument. So let's right the wrongs here and get this back up. But no, in all honesty, like really quick, I was on a podcast. It was like Jared Petty's Top 100 Games podcast, and basically what the concept is that every episode he brings on a different person to rank a game on that episode. And so he wanted me on, and I was just like, well, I want it to be Kingdom Hearts 2. And he was like, okay, what number do you want to be on? It's like you can choose anything up to that point. And I was just like, well, I want it to be number 1, but I also like I want it to be objective. And I think that I genuinely think that Kingdom Hearts 2 should be somewhere in the top 50. I think it is a top 50 game of all time. And I think I got it to like 40. I think I ended up choosing like 48 or 46. And you know what? I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Like I'm okay with that. Is my favorite game of all time. I objectively think it is one of the best games of all time, but like I was able to set on that, so I'm happy with 10. We're good with that.
Much better than 48.
So you got a solid like 30 place increase on Kingdom Hearts 2. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I'm glad the two have come on. I appreciate y'all inviting me. I've said my spiel at the beginning of the episode, but you can follow me on socials like Twitter, Blue Sky at Cam Final Mix. If you want to keep up with any of my stuff, I do have a project in the works that won't be announced until like early next year. So like as in like sometime in January probably. So if you liked
ICTs,
you can follow me on socials for that announcement that will inevitably happen. Play the Trail series because it's super underrated if you like JRPGs. And your life will change forever. Yeah, I think that's all. If y'all had anything last thing for me, questions or whatever, I'm cool to hearing them. I'm down to chat, but that's me.
I'll make my final thoughts a question for Cam.
Sure.
I have to think that you are aware of this existence, but have you seen like the Kingdom Hearts 2 like boss rush randomizer mods that people do?
Yes.
Holy shit. That really is like what like clued me in and like, okay, this might be like one of the best like combat systems that was ever made.
Yeah. Funny enough, another Pokemon Crystal, very popular with randomizers. So like I remember on Games Done Quick, there was one person doing Kingdom Hearts 2 and one person doing Pokemon Crystal at the same time. And I was just like, this is amazing. This was meant for me.
Yeah. Like, why did they make this specifically for me?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right, Jonah, final thoughts.
Steven's been gone forever, and he's been back for like this is his first day back, and he's completely just fucked up the list. You guys need to go look at the list right now. We on our Linktree there is access to our list. There's also slots for you guys to submit prompts and questions. We also have guest sign up list on there too if you guys want to sign up to be a guest. But yeah, just want to give a shout out to our patrons. Thank you guys. You guys have made 2024 fantastic. You've helped us do so many things like being able to buy stickers, to take the packs, helping me get a Stream Deck to help make the show better, helping Steven get a new mic. You guys have been fantastic, so I just want to give a shout out to our patrons. you guys want to check out our Patreon, it is on our link tree in the description. You can have access to all of our links. And I just also want to say, like our show. The more likes we get, the more eyes we go out to. So, thanks.
Oh yeah. All right, Steven. First final thoughts in like a month, bro. What you got for us?
Yeah, man, pressure's on. Hey, yeah, thanks, Cam, for coming. It was an awesome episode. I had the biggest upset of grinding yesterday. I saw my first ever in Pokemon Legends shiny charm. Always freaking try and complete my Pokedex, and I just got the shiny charm when I went back into it because I didn't realize you got to do some extra things to get the shiny charm. Anyway, I did that. Went to some spawns and saw my first ever starter Pokemon shiny, which was a shiny Chimchar, and I was so excited. And I was throwing Pokeballs, and then one of it wanted to fight me. I was like, "Oh no, one of them fight me! I have to fight this one!" Like runs away. False swiped it, and then I didn't remember that in Pokemon Legends itself, all the random Pokemon have the ability to run away, and it ran away. So I did not get my first ever shiny starter.
What the fuck?
Do you have a Canon 6?
A Canon. Oh, Greninja, Gengar, Pangoro, Alakazam, and
me too.
Man, I don't know what my sixth is. That's tough. I actually don't know.
It's that Chimchar that got away, bro. You gotta go.
Actually, no. Decidueye. I fucking love Decidueye too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I have Totodile, Kingdra, Entei, Lapras, Alakazam, and Flygon. That's my Canon 6.
Man, I love Chimchar. I just like his design.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
Little guy. I wish they had an option to like let you get the stat bonuses and moves for evolving your Pokemon, but just keep them as a skin
keep
of like
them as a starter. Yeah. Translog. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Transmog Pokemon. All right, Mateo, final thoughts.
Oh, I got nothing, dude. I've got this orange over here that I peeled, and I cannot wait to dig into this little mandarin orange, dude. It's gonna be delicious once we're done recording.
Yeah. All right. Well, as always, I've been your host, Katie Bertha Lane. I just bought Trails in the Sky on Steam.
Let's go.
Let's beat Metaphor. I'm at the final chapter. Dive into Trails. Let's go. Cam did his job. He sold it. As always, happy gaming. Bye.
Put those grippers away.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.
Can you give me a check on number 34 on the list, please?
Yeah, we got
Skyrim. I've never played Skyrim.
aka aviation ass eating. is that a direct reference to Dan? Like, if you like Skyrim, you're just eating Dan's ass. I don't know what the reference is.
Saying it's you're in the Mile High Club when you Skyrim.
Oh God, how did I miss that fucking pun? Holy shit.